Okay, Jaden Salazar.
Picture this. I know. Oh, is it? Oh, it's not on yet? My bad. Oh. Picture this. I know it might be hard considering we're all from southwest Kansas, but just stay with me on this one. It's a calm, serene day. You're just standing in the shallow waters of some beach somewhere. It's just perfect. Not a cloud in sight. Serene. The sereneness of the day is shattered as a shriek rings out from across the waves. Swimmers, surfers, and all beachgoers rush to the shore, and a familiar triangular shape prowls the deep. And in spite of yourself, a familiar theme begins to play in your head. Despite what Steven Spielberg may have led you to believe, sharks are not as dangerous as they may seem. In fact, they're not very dangerous at all. Now I know what you might be thinking. What is this boy from southwest Kansas doing telling us about sharks? Well, me and my shark socks have done the research. And we've come to a startling conclusion. That sharks are not as dangerous as they should be, as they are thought to be. Movies such as The Meg, Deep Blue Sea, and Jaws have led public opinion to be swayed against sharks. Us weak, apex predators, we who have conquered the world, consider ourselves victim in a war against sharks, even though there is no war at all. Sensationalist news, past and present, such as Druitt Smith, ABC's Australia's January 2020 headline, "Surfer Bitten to the Bone," make it seem like we're no match for sharks' killing prowess, even if it should be the other way around. As many deaths, injuries are thought to be done to us, we do 1,000 times over to sharks. Sharks are hunted in retaliation. They are also hunted for their fins. Shark fin soup is a delicacy in many parts of the world, and according to the WWF website, that's a World Wildlife Fund, 100 million sharks are killed each year. That's 1/3 the population of the US gone each year. Sharks are also killed in a process called bycatching. This is where nets not intended for them wrap up sharks, turtles, and other creatures like dolphins. Despite all we do to them, in 2019 there was only 64 unprovoked shark attacks out of 140 total. Only 140. Just say it again. Good thing sharks are very unimportant parts of our ecosystems, right? Actually, no, not at all. Sharks are vital for ocean ecosystems as they keep their prey species under control. And with no sharks, their prey flourishes. This can cause damage to ocean ecosystems due to overpopulation, and then which would lead to depopulation. This can all cascade into complete destruction of ocean ecosystems, then world ecosystems. Fishing and crabbing and other human industries would be devastated if all of the sharks were gone. So what can be done for sharks? Us as Kansans might not be able to do much, but dispelling rumors about sharks, like how many kill us each year, which is not very many. Telling people about the importance of sharks and how sensationalist news has taught us that they're dangerous. I know it might not seem like it, but sharks need your help, even if they can't ask for it.
Okay, Toby McClure.
So you've heard of fire, but have you heard of fire? So I'm sure most of you have heard of the Australian fires. Well, they were big, really, really big. And this year has been the worst fire season that Australia has ever had. They actually have a whole entire 3 months dedicated to fire season. It's just like summer, winter, spring, fall. There were over 100 fires across the entire country from either lightning or arson. Half of them were actually created by other people throwing out cigarettes, and these could all have been prevented. Millions of acres were burned over the last couple months. Jesse Young, a journalist at CNN, published in an article called Australia's Deadly Fires on January 13th, 2020, that over 3,000 homes have been destroyed in the last several months by these fires. There have been over 17.9 million acres burned, and in the 6 states, that's a lot. BBC News published in an article called Major Bushfires in Australia on January 31st, 2020. And New South Wales has been the worst affected with 12.9 acres burned. There were 17.1 in the beginning, and there's 12.9 million acres that have been burned in just New South Wales. Not only has the land been affected, but also the animals that live in the land have been affected. They have been burned or killed by smoke. Jesse Young also said that over 500 million animals have been affected, and this is just animals that have been found alive or discovered dead. And there are probably millions more that have been killed. These numbers are expected to grow over the next couple months, considering that these animals or this land is still being burned. People are also being affected, and over 33 people and 4 firefighters have been killed during the fires. Brian Resnick said that in an article of things everyone should know about Australia's fires on January 22nd of 2020. There are more than 1,600 firefighters fighting these fires right now, and they still need help. In the end, there's been a lot of damage, but it's not irreversible. People can do a lot to help with monetary donations and just people being there to fight the fires. It'll take time for Australia to recover from these fires, but with the help of monetary donations and bodies to help fight it, it will all be solved and fixed.
Okay, Sydney Beasley. These are now the retakes from Friday. Sydney Beasley.
So yeah, you want me to.
According to the Collins English Dictionary, as of 2020, the definition of posting is a message that is placed on the internet, for example, on a newsgroup or website for everyone to read. While you guys may be doing most of your posting on Facebook, Instagram, or Snapchat, I do most of my posting on my horse. Hi, my name is Cindy Beasley, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the art of English style writing. To properly understand English writing, you must understand the posting, the correct posture, and the history of posting. First, learning what posting is essential to your English performance. If you're watching an English class, you may think it's just a bunch of writers bobbing up and down, but it's actually quite more advanced than that. We have a saying, and it goes, rise and fall with the leg on the wall. And that's exactly how it sounds. If you're riding your horse in an English class, you want to look at the front leg that's right on the rail. Now, if it's forward, your body should be up, and when it's back, your body should be down. That's what we call a diagonal. If you're mimicking the right leg, you're on the right diagonal, and vice versa. Now, changing diagonals might seem like a lot to an unexperienced writer, but it's actually quite simple. When you're in an English class, you may be asked to reverse your horse. This you would need to change your diagonal for. All you have to do is sit twice. So you're in the up and down motion, you just sit twice and change your diagonal. It's just that simple. Much like your posting, your posture can make or break your performance. You have to have your heels in the right position, your legs, and your body all together. To have the power behind your post, your heels need to be down. Now this is much like a heel stretch if you're going into a basketball game or anything like that. That's the position that your heels have to be in. While your heels are being pushed down, it's very easy to push your legs forward, but this is super incorrect and it'll make your posting just that much harder on your body. Your legs have to be back behind the seat of the saddle. This will make your posting more efficient for you and for the horse. Your body also has to be in the right position. To be in the right position, your body has to be leaned slightly forward, which is completely different than any other style of writing. In other writing, they'll tell you to lean back, but in English, you need to lean forward from your hips. I say from your hips because your back needs to be straight as well. So if you're not leaning forward from your hips, your shoulders will come forward and it'll look super awkward. Now that you understand the fundamentals of posting, you need to understand where it came from. There's 2 theories on where posting originated from. An internet article written on September 6th of 2013 by an experienced equestrian titled A Brief History of Why We Post the Trot talked about the first theory. Now this was whenever they were riding horses in battle for hours on end. The horse's back legs would get tired after a while, so the riders would post the trot. This would relieve the stress on one of the back legs, and every 15 minutes they would change the diagonal to give the other back leg a rest. The other theory is that it came from fox hunting in England. Now this is much like the battles. It was to give the horses a rest on their back legs and to also elongate their stride to make the hunting more efficient. Leslie Lang, a world champion equestrian and author of the article The Ups and Downs of Posting from March 20th of 2017, stated that the up and down motion of posting saves the strain on the horse's back, making it easier to carry a rider for longer distances. So not only does this save the horse's legs, but also their back. Not only does this help the horse's back, but it helps people's back as well. The constant jamming of a trot on the person's spinal cord could extremely damage it. So trotting or posting the trot would help a lot. While you may not be on a horse anytime soon, and you very well may not be in an English class, I hope that by understanding my definition of posting, with the posting, posture, and history of English writing, you might just think about my definition the next time you think about posting on Snapchat, Instagram, or Facebook. Thank you.
Okay, Shelby Breckmuller.
Picture this, beautiful island off of the coast of Australia. And on that coast, there's a beach full of coral and dead seashells. And that's basically what makes up the beach. And when you step on it, you feel this kind of rocky sensation like gravel. But off that, there's about knee-high waters. And in those waters are beautiful coral reef. And even further, the coral reef spreads and it's colorful, it's beautiful, and it has all these kinds of animals like sea turtles, octopus, and even manta rays. It's amazing. You should definitely visit it. It is also one of the world's 7 wonders. And in 30 years, it will be gone, completely and dead, due to coral bleaching. Coral bleaching is an important matter because coral reefs are depended on by special algae. It is depended on by multiple animals in the ocean, and it's just our responsibility to fix it. Coral bleaching is the process of a coral dying. Now, the coral and algae called Zoothanella rely on each other. The algae uses the coral as stability, like shelter, to have something to grow on. And the coral also uses the algae to bring in other organisms that it can eat, and also uses photosynthesis with the algae. It's a very interesting concept. Now, according to Ocean Services .noaa.gov, these coral reefs are slowly dying due to the algae leaving the coral because of the unsafe environment it is in. Coral bleaching causes the algae obviously to leave the tissue, and it's because of the temperature increase, extreme exposure to sun, extreme currents, and pollution, which stresses the algae out. After this, the coral slowly begins to die, and it becomes a bleached white, almost like you dipped it straight in bleach. Now, the coral bleaching has a negative effect on large amounts of animals. The majority of marine life depends on coral reef for shelter or food. 3% of Earth is covered in coral reefs, and 25% of ocean life relies on the reefs, according to oceanexplorer.noaa.gov. The ocean ecosystem is devastated without coral reefs. See, if you can think of a pyramid, the coral reefs is the base, and above it is fish that feed off the coral reefs, and above that is predators, like Jaden stated, like sharks and manta rays and stuff like that. Without the coral reefs, the top and the middle, which is your fishes and large predators, they fall apart because they don't have that stability. Humans are responsible for coral survival, believe it or not. Humans are a main reason why the increase in temperature in the oceans and for pollution. CO2 is created and pollution makes the situation our responsibility. According to Ocean Explorer, the main source of CO2 in our atmosphere is absorbed by our oceans, which is causing the temperature increase. Humans have a huge impact on this because we are like controllers of the world. The coral can't speak for themselves, and without us, they won't survive. They can't speak out, and just because we're in a landlocked state doesn't mean it doesn't matter. Technically, because we are not there to see the oceans for ourselves, we are more likely to cause pollution. Coral bleaching is an important issue because the algae needs it to survive, because ocean creatures rely on coral, and because it's our fault that the coral have gotten to this point. I strongly encourage you to look up the Great Barrier Reef or even go visit it yourself. And I also want you to think to yourself, do I really want to be responsible for killing one of the 7 wonders? Thank you.
Okay, Maggie Cabrera.
When I was 16 years old, I got my first debit card. And me being the person I am, I decided I'm gonna do a little bit of online shopping. So I went on a website, and this website had very cute clothes. So I bought a couple t-shirts. They were dirt cheap, talking $5. And in the end, I spent about $15 plus shipping and handling, you know. And then not even 30 minutes later, I got a call from my bank saying, why are you spending over $200 on a website? I didn't have this money in my account, so I got really freaked out. Not knowing how to shop safely online was my downfall. To shop safe online, a person should make sure the website is secure, keep their software updated, and don't ever use public Wi-Fi. Shopping online is very dangerous if your website is not secure. People are manipulated every single day on websites that are unsecure. According to an internet article from December 27th by Optimal Networks, a computer safety website entitled The Dangers of Online Shopping and How to Stay Safe, unsecured networks are a huge problem when it comes to online shopping. Optical Networks ensures if it is too good to be true, then it probably is. To ensure that your network is safe and avoid the problem, from the same article, you can look for the HTTPS instead of HTTP. Remember, the S stands for secure. Not only is a secure network crucial when shopping online, so is updating your software. Faulty software can cause multiple problems, and vulnerable software can also cause these problems. A magazine article entitled Is Online Shopping Bad for You? By Scholastic Action from March 2018 by Todd Olson, an online shopper. Keeping your software updated is very important. The internet is easy to be taken advantage of, and people often are. Shopping online is becoming even more relevant today, so you should make sure that your software is updated. Updating your software can really protect you because frequently updating your software prevents new viruses from being embedded in your computer. Many times your software is not the only problem when you're shopping online, but the Wi-Fi where you are is. Do not use public Wi-Fi when you shop online. It's not a good idea. There are hackers that are constantly stealing your information, your credit card numbers, your social security, and it's very easy on public Wi-Fi. In a newspaper article entitled Always on Internet is Fueling Cyberchondria and Shopping Disorders by the Daily Telegraph, written by Sarah Napton, a disorder researcher on October 8, 2018, shows that many people feel the need to always be on the internet, leaving them very vulnerable to hackers. Public Wi-Fi is as it is. It's very public, and anyone can access it, so keep that in mind. To avoid anyone hacking your system, online shop at home or on your own Wi-Fi. This helps prevent hackers. Public Wi-Fi is very easy to access info, but if you do need to use it, please use a VPN to protect yourself. So at the end of my story, I got my money back and the bank said to me, Miss Cabrera, please be safe when you shop online next time. So next time you shop online, remember my story and how scared I was. Be certain your website is secure, update your software frequently, and try not to use public Wi-Fi. With advancing technology, it's imperative to understand where we shop online and how to do it safely. With that being said, I hope you stay safe the next time you make an online purchase.
An online shopper.
Okay, Grace Gibson.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Oh, yeah?
Let me lay out my clothes. No, I'm not ready. Hold on.
I know, I'm just, you said.
The ones that said, let me pull it. So like most of the shark attacks are actually provoked, meaning like somebody was messing. And so they got me a good bit. That's how it is.
Okay, Grace Gibson.
My favorite compliment to receive is, hey, I like your shirt. I know we've all heard this before, but this is a super special compliment to me because of my typical response. As people close to me know, my typical response is, thanks, I thrifted it. That's right, thrift is now a verb, and I've been using it avidly for about 3 years. Thrifting is a great way to expand your budget, protect the environment, and update your wardrobe. I'm going to teach you some tips and tricks about how to do the best job while thrift shopping and why you should do it. Secondhand shopping is better on your bank account. Not only can you buy designer items or items that you would already buy in the store, like these jeans that are from PacSun, but I thrifted them for like $16 and they would typically be about 50 cents. This Tommy Hilfiger shirt, which I got for $2, which God knows how much it would have been, especially because it's just the brand name. Or this Eddie Bauer sweatshirt, which was only $1, but is now my favorite sweatshirt in the whole world. But you can also resell clothes online that you already purchased for way more than you bought them for. And you can sell them on websites like Depop and Poshmark. Second of all, shopping at thrift stores is way better on the environment. In an article titled The Impact of a Cotton T-Shirt, the World Wildlife Fund, who specializes in the conservation of wildlife and the planet, stated on January 16th of 2013 that it can take 2,700 liters of water to produce a single cotton T-shirt. Also, an environmental journalist named Nicholas Gilmore published an article on January 16th of 2018 entitled Read to Waste, America's Clothing Crisis, in which he reported that the EPA, or the Environmental Protection Agency, estimated that the average American disposes of 81 pounds of clothing every year. You shopping secondhand eliminates all of these problems. Now that you know why you should be thrift shopping, I'm going to teach you how you should be thrift shopping, because thrift shopping is not just shopping for clothes. It's an experience and a hobby. First of all, you shouldn't worry about size. Size is super relative when shopping for clothes at secondhand stores, especially when it comes to jeans, because every brand makes their clothes differently. You also shouldn't stick to one section. You can go all over the thrift store and find all kinds of different items, like the men's section, which is my personal favorite. I found this vintage GameCube era Zelda t-shirt and this super cool rugby shirt, which I'd been looking for a really long time and finally found the perfect one. You also shouldn't judge a piece by its current state. Just because it's too long, doesn't fit you the best at the moment, or you don't like something about it, doesn't mean you shouldn't invest in it. Like these Colorado Rockies
that were perfect, except they were too long on me, and they fit weird at the ankles. So I cut them into shorts, and now I have these super cute shorts with a different detail than every other pair of shorts I have. Or this quarter zip, which is my favorite color to wear right now. And I cropped it so that it would fit me better. And I also didn't waste the material because you want to eliminate as much waste as possible. So I made the bottom to a matching headband because matching sets are in right now. Or you can crop any t-shirt you buy, like this one with the super cool design on it. This was actually the first t-shirt I ever thrifted. You also should look at the fabric when buying something. You want things that are sturdy and well made, like this jean jacket. Obviously it has stood the test of time, but it's already broken in, so you don't have to worry about doing that. Or this sweatshirt, which has been taken care of. You don't want to buy overly worn items. You also shouldn't buy items from fast fashion stores such as Forever 21 and H&M because they were not made to last in the first place, and they're part of the reason why the clothing industry takes such a toll on the environment. Now that you know how to shop, you should know where to shop. My favorite places to shop are Goodwills because they're usually fairly clean. Privately owned thrift stores are also super cool because they have a more personal feel. Consignment stores because they have better quality items because the items have been handpicked. But the coolest places to shop, in my opinion, are trading stores and exchange stores. You can not only buy clothes there, but you can also trade clothes there and take your old clothes there and sell them. If you don't like shopping in stores in the first place, that won't stop you from thrift shopping. You can also thrift shop online on places like Instagram or Poshmark, ThredUp, and Depop. Now that you know the best ways to thrift shop, I really hope you employ the word thrift in your vocabulary. Thank you so much.
Great.
Me?
Yeah, me.
I thought he said great.
Great.
And what, I just start whatever? Sorry. Do you know of Pokemon? How about of the company that publishes it? I'm sure you said yes to both of these questions. I'm equally sure I don't even need to say the company's name for you to know who I'm talking about. However, despite how popular this company may be, I doubt many of us know of its colorful past. The truth is, Nintendo has had a very humble beginning. They greatly affected the gaming industry, and they're still going on strong to this day. The company was originally founded by Fusajiro Yamauchi in 1883 back in Kyoto, Japan. It originally produced Hanafuda cards, which are traditional Japanese playing cards. And while these were relatively successful, Nintendo wanted to move on to more successful businesses. That's why when Hiroshi Yamauchi took over the company in 1922, he moved the business to America in an attempt to expand. As stated in a 2016 Vocal Media post by Matt Skolpnik, Hiroshi tried many different ventures, such as a restaurant, a taxi service, and even a hotel chain. When all these failed, they bought the company enough time to release one of its more successful products. This came in 1973 as the laser clay shooting system, which is a toy where a projector would show an image on a backdrop of moving targets, and systems where the player would use a small toy gun to shoot light at. And while this proved relatively successful, the real success came from the realization that video games had as a marketable product. With this, Nintendo dipped its toe into the gaming industry by buying the Magnavox Odyssey, which was recognized as the first home video game console, although it was only released in Japan. It was also around this time they picked up one of the most influential members, known as Masahiro Sakurai. And while you may not recognize his name, you will no doubt recognize many of his works. He's credited with developing the original Mario Brothers, Donkey Kong, and the Legend of Zelda series. Also, although Nintendo got its first real break in 1985 with the release of the NES, or Nintendo Entertainment System. This sold 49.1 million units worldwide, and even today is recognized as one of the top 10 best-selling consoles. And with this also came the first real appearance of the Mario Brothers in the Zelda series. This console also revolutionized gaming, being able to have cartridges. So to switch out games, you would simply take out one cartridge and replace it with another. But with all this success, it begs the question, has Nintendo managed to keep up with it in modern days? And the simple answer is yes. As reported by Forbes in 2020 in an article by Mark Kane, the recently released Nintendo Switch has surpassed the NES with total worldwide sales, totaling at 49.8 million units. Also with the release of the Switch came critically acclaimed games such as Super Mario Odyssey, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Of course, this level of quality is what we've come to expect from Nintendo, but looking back 140 years, I doubt anyone expected this small card company to blossom into the giant it is today. And Nintendo went from producing cheap handmade cards to trying to peddle bad food to releasing one of the most influential consoles in history. Best of all is that Nintendo has managed to keep up with this momentum into the modern times, and with any luck, they will continue to do so. Thank you for your time. Kill me.
Okay, Hannah, last one. Come on, girl, you got it.
That one spot in your speech that makes me think of what my because like you remember, I missed like the first beginning part of your speech last time because I didn't see the book I read there. And it happened. Sorry.
Did you know that the first Star Wars movie almost caused an actual war? According to what? Oh.
Start over.
Did you know that the first Star Wars movie almost caused an actual war? According to a 2019 internet article from Best Life titled 20 Amazing Star Wars Facts Even Fans Don't Know, the scenes on Tatooine were shot in Tunisia, who shares a border with Libya. Libya's dictator, Muammar Gaddafi, threatened to go to war with Tunisia if they didn't move a military vehicle from Libya's border. That military vehicle was actually a Jawa sandcrawler. You know, the big thing on wheels that the Jawas sold droids out of? In the end, George Lucas moved the vehicle. Good thing he did too, otherwise the original Star Wars movies probably wouldn't be as well received as they are today. As I stated in my introductory speech, I love Star Wars. I've seen all the movies countless times and spent so much money on toys, video games, and Lego sets as a kid. One thing I love about Star Wars is that it's unique and beautiful and it's different. Another thing I love is how it connects people old and young. Star Wars has had a history spanning over 4 decades. Star Wars has a positive impact on the film industry, and Star Wars will have a legacy that will last forever. Star Wars has a history spanning over 4 decades. George Lucas came up with the idea of a space opera after his success with American Graffiti. Lucas was living in a 1-bedroom home in Mills Valley, California when he directed a low-budget film called American Graffiti. It cost less than $1 million to produce, and it earned $50 million and 5 Oscar nominees, including Best Director. Motivated by his success with American Graffiti, Lucas was determined to follow through his idea of a space opera based on stories about Flash Gordon and Buck Rogers that he loved as a kid. At first, he struggled with it. He created a 12-page early draft of Star Wars to many Hollywood studios. United Artists shut him down, and so did Universal. However, 20th Century Fox was encouraged by the buzz about American Graffiti. They decided to give him some money to flesh out his script. At first, the story was dense, there was a tone imbalance, and some scenes would be expensive to shoot. But in the end, the story improved, and we got the story that we love today. Flash forward about 8 story films and 8 saga films and 2 story films, we're where we are today. Star Wars has a positive impact on the film industry. It has had subtle influences on Hollywood. It introduced modern special effects to the big screen, and it also paved the way for the modern movie trilogy, which inspired The Matrix and Lord of the Rings. And it also showed that merchandising can make more money than the movies do. According to a 2010 internet article from Space titled Star Wars Changed the World, George Lucas made a deal with PepsiCo over merchandising rights for the prequel films, and it was worth about $2 billion. Now that we talked about the past and the present, let's talk about the future. Star Wars will have a legacy that will last forever because it gives people a place to escape reality. Whether it's Oz or Middle Earth or Gotham City, Star Wars will always give people a place to escape the stress of everyday life. And no one will ever be able to duplicate it. No one will ever be able to put this kind of twist on sci-fi. Star Wars has had an history spanning over 4 decades. George Lucas came up with this idea after his success with American Graffiti, and at first he struggled with it. Star Wars has a positive impact on the film industry. It introduced modern special effects to movies, and it showed that merchandising can make more money than the movies do. Star Wars will have a legacy that will last forever because it gives people a place to escape the stress of everyday life, and no one will ever be able to replicate it. To those who are like me and have seen Star Wars countless times, I hope this speech has taught you a little something about Star Wars. To those who have never seen a Star Wars movie in their life, I hope this speech has encouraged you to watch one. Just remember, Force will be with you, always.